Hey everyone, Mark here. Today I'm going to read a memo prepared by some grassroots community groups regarding the drought contingency plan, demanding a resident first approach. Luckily, the city council is not voting on this at the council meeting tomorrow. They are delaying the vote to take more time to consider any changes. So tomorrow's meeting is a chance to give public comment and let them know that, we want a resident first approach. And so yeah, I'm gonna read this memo that kind of goes over the changes that were being requested. And if you can make it to city council tomorrow, it's 11:30. You can give comment remote or in person. We have a video showing how to sign up. So yeah, I'm gonna get into the memo and read it. Demands and recommendations for a resident first drought contingency plan. A memo prepared by grassroots community groups. Each of the groups responsible for the greater good, Texas Campaign for the Environment, and Corpus Christi DSA for this memo hold firmly the following. Both the current DCP from 2018 and the proposed DCP 2025 demonstrate the city's failure to understand, or worse, their denial to the root cause of why we're experiencing such a severe water shortage, overpromising and overselling a finite resource to industrial customers whose pursuit of profit and therefore of resources is infinite. It is profoundly disappointing and undemocratic that the city had to be pressured into holding a second listening session for the hundreds of thousands of residents who would be impacted by the DCP while holding private meetings with industry associations and business groups. In doing so, community groups are not given the same opportunity or access to the time of city officials, and therefore our interests are underrepresented at best and deliberately suppressed at worst. Furthermore, we are displeased with the lack of time given to residents to prepare and attend. In both cases, the listening sessions were announced only 4 days before they were scheduled. In any instance in which the city is inviting the public to give input on city matters, the event should be published and advertised at least 1 week in advance. The consideration of and adoption of the following would mean progress on behalf of the city in terms of meeting the most immediate needs of residents and meaningfully including our input in the DCP. We demand a measurable, quantifiable trigger for Stage 4 or water emergency stage. We believe it is inappropriate for the city manager alone to decide when we are in and out of this stage. The city of Austin, for example, enters Stage 4 when combined lake levels are 30% of capacity. The next stage is Stage 5 or emergency stage, in which there is a disaster, system outage, equipment failure, and or contamination. We strongly recommend that the trigger be determined by a percent of combined water levels, similar to the previous stages. Furthermore, the triggers chosen for the implementation of different stages of a drought contingency plan, such as lake or aquifer levels, often do not take into account the relative severity of climatic conditions, an oversight that can delay meaningful responses to drought for far too long. We demand there be a mandatory curtailment of water from the top 10 largest water users of at least 10% per day that begins in Stage 3. In the water emergency stage, the city manager is tasked with nothing more than calling the top 10 water users. The phone call should be an action that happens in Stage 3 and include the notification that the city will begin enforcing curtailment. It is preposterous and outright dangerous to rely on the benevolence of private corporations to willingly cut back in a way that measurably reduces the burden on our water supply. We demand the city be fully transparent about future monitoring plans and the metrics used to determine important thresholds for policy. We maintain that in order for the city to make the most informed decisions possible, they must be based on the latest and most accurate information available. In order to address previous failures of transparency and rebuild trust with residents, we recommend the city create, publish, and distribute at minimum an annual 12-month graph that shows the water usage for all customer classes, including customers from the San Patricio Municipal Water District. This graph should be broken into a month-by-month basis for the current and previous 3 years. To further address the city's lack of transparency, we demand that the top 10 heaviest water customers be required to report their conservation plans both in the city's DCP and the city's water conservation plan. Additionally, we demand the city publish public reports and hold public briefings verifying whether or not these users meet their goals. We object to the city's for-profit model utilized by the water department because under this model, the city is projected to lose revenue from less water usage, thereby penalizing conservation instead of incentivizing water conservation by all users. The city should counteract this by removing the optional surcharge fee for heavy volume water users and instead implement mandatory tiered pricing for high volume users. In section 16.9 of the DCP, it states pro rata allocation preparations should begin in stage 2. This means the city should have already started limiting industrial and wholesale customer water use fairly, but have failed to do so even as we are headed toward stage 4. We are demanding immediate and retroactive enforcement of these pro rata allocations. Used correctly, this code could be monumental in terms of conserving our dwindling water supply. If the allocations are not implemented, the water department should be transparent about their reasoning, citing the most accurate information available. In conclusion, these recommendations represent a labor of love that each member of our respective groups have contributed to over the course of at least 7 years and largely unpaid. We watched, attended, and contributed to countless meetings and facilitated numerous conversations with other community members so that we can understand and contribute in good faith to the quality of life for all residents, with a high priority placed on those of us who are socially, politically, and economically marginalized and vulnerable. Furthermore, we resent that we are perceived and treated as adversaries instead of partners by the vast majority of city leadership. We hope that this document demonstrates we are the pro-equity, pro-justice, and pro-democracy grassroots community, and not simply the anti-everything crowd. So yeah, that's the memo. City Council tomorrow at 11:30, the 25th, and yeah, just stay updated to when they're gonna present an updated DCP and vote on it at City Council. Contact your council members. You have someone who's representing you. They're supposed to listen to their constituents and the residents that vote for them. So use what you have, your body, your voice, to speak up about the people that are going to be affected by this. This DCP, the ones that have been proposed, are very industry favoring and allow them to just continue on with their heavy usage and to sell more water away and to continue with the industrial expansion that we already have in this region, the top polluters of the air, the water, and that cause health problems and concerns to the community, to people, humans, and then also the bay and the marine life. And then also there's the economical and financial impact of this. The way things are going with the desalination plants, water rates and utility rates are already increasing. And that's only going to be furthermore when they have to recoup the cost of these desalination plants that are going to cost over $1 billion. Um, so yeah, there's people that cannot afford to pay their bills now. We're in a cost of living crisis. So yeah, and also there's a lot of people that just don't know about the DCP, don't know the impact and the implications of it. So yeah, that's why it's really concerning how the city's handled the input sessions and just the timeline of this. They were already really late on it, 2 years, and then they were trying to rush it until people really spoke up and demanded that we have some more input sessions. So yeah, if you can make it tomorrow to City Council, that'd be great. If you have any questions about making public comment or signing up, just let us know. It's also tomorrow, February 25th at 5 p.m. to 6:30. It's going to be a movie, a filming of a documentary about the desalination plant proposed here in the Inner Harbor Hillcrest neighborhood, and it's called Water and Soil. So I'll put the poster on here for that. But we'll hope to see y'all there and hope to see you at City Council. If you have any questions, just let us know.